Hey there, YouTube land. Big Dave here. So I hope everyone's doing well, and I want to thank everyone for following along or watching and subscribing, whatever's going on out there. I appreciate it very much. Um, so today, I want to make a quick video about something that's a subject of mine, and it's about pruning shears. Now, whether you use these around where you live, or you use them for rose bushes, or you carry them with you to use in the field at some, place where you camp or whatever, or go fishing. In some places are unmaintained areas, which are, there's no regulations in some of those places. You have to know what's going on, because like there's a few places where I am that are nature preserves, and you can't cut or touch anything. You can fish there, but you can't, get involved in snipping any kind of briar or branches and stuff like that. Although I know the people that in one place where I go, I know some of the people that do the volunteer work there. And if you were to clip some briar, they could care less, because that's what they end up doing when they go there to do their cleanups. So you have to know the regulations where you go in your fishing area, or your camp area. But sometimes you do have to make a couple of clips where you are. There's wild briar, and it has a lot of thorns, and it can be really nasty. That's kind of like my rule of thumb, where in some of the places where I go, and if it's nasty and it's where I'm gonna operate, and it's got really nasty thorns and stuff, I'll make a few clips and clear it up. Especially if it's just what I call an unmaintained area. It's just a place where no one is ever gonna go, and no one is gonna ever do anything there, because they're just not. So, in that case, you might have to do that. Or just around what you're doing. Like I have rose bushes, and I have a lot of stuff that grows. So these are essential for me. And if I'm going to go in the field, I might carry a pair of these in my bag. In fact, a lot of times I do. But again, you have to know what the story is, where you are, what the regulations are, and if there's limitations, or if it's just, a complete disaster where you are in some remote place that doesn't have any maintenance at all whatsoever, and there's nothing that has to do with anything. If you got to clip a few briars, clip, and you're done, instead of it chewing up your face. Okay, so I have found over the years, even from my garden, rose bushes and all that, because at one time I was pretty into rose bushes. I'm not anymore. I still have 4, but I like my my shears to cut. These are 8.5 inch, by the way. Sometimes they call them 8 inch, but the common size, you'll see the ones I'm going to show you today. These are the standard. These are like, you see, they're all about the same size. These are 8.5 inch. In fact, these are new. Because this pair was very bent, and I didn't think I was going to be able to recover it. And I did. So I did get them straight in the vise and used a little bit of work. But you see, they don't exactly close like they're supposed to anymore. They're just a little bit off. So, but they work. I mean, the main cutting area, and I did just sharpen the blade, and I just cleaned up the anvil part also, And I like to have these with a pretty tight tolerance. So if you can see, it's hard for me to focus on this, but if you can see where they close, I keep them adjusted using this mechanism here. This is how you adjust how tight or loose you want them. And every pair of shears has a different mechanism. Like this one, this is a German pair of Pruning. I don't even think you can get these anywhere anymore. These are probably 35 years old. This was my first pair of serious rosebush pruners, and they're really I don't know. I just went over these and I just sharpened the blade and double checked everything, and they have this mechanism where it's just a nut and like a spring washer underneath it, and that's what keeps it. But again, I like the tolerance to be where the two blades just rub together. If there's too much space, what happens is some of the branches get stuck in between the blades, and it kind of pushes them apart and bends them. And a lot of times I'm cutting really small stuff, like on the ends of my climbing rose bushes, so it's really fine stuff. So I want them to be, the tolerance to be close. Out in the field, you know, if you need to use them on a campsite or wherever you are, or, you know, again, I can't stress enough. You have to know what the regulations are for where you're going, or what the property deal is. You know, if it's a place that's unmaintained and there's no regulations and you can snip a couple of briars or whatever you have to do, you have to know the regulations where you're going. But I know there are places I go there you can't touch anything. You have to leave everything as it is. You can fish, and some of the places they hunt, but you can't touch anything. Okay, it's you can get a fine for it. You know, it's like $500 and all that kind of stuff. So you just have to know what's going on where you go. So these I find to be, for me, these are the most usable. You just stick them in your bag, you carry them around, and outside. Not getting into the big stuff. I mean, if you go camping and you have to know that you go to a certain campsite that may be unmaintained, and you might even need a mower or whatever you need. I don't know. You know, I know we used to go to Pennsylvania to this one place, and it was privately owned, and it was a friend of mine, but they used to either rent out the property for like a week at a time, or you could sometimes, if like I was very friendly with him, we went there. You know, we didn't pay, we just went there, and it was all cool. But sometimes we had to bring a mower, or we had to bring a sickle, or, you know, some other kind of maintenance things. Otherwise, you couldn't function there because it's not a maintained property. All right. So again, I don't want to get into all that. You have to figure that out for wherever you're going and the deal. But I'm mostly here to talk about these devices, the pruning shears. These are the carbide blades. Now, this pair is new to me. In fact, they're very new. I just got them. This is, you know, Craftsman. I got these at Lowe's. And they have the heavy aluminum handle underneath. And they have the grips. Nice, strong spring. Locking mechanism. My only beef with these is the way the adjustment is. You set, this is your set screw, or your set bolt, and it pulls these in because these are threaded, and then this is only a lock nut, so you have to hold this in the position that you want it with one wrench, and then use like a socket wrench or whatever to give this a good tweak to lock it into place, and this whole section stays still while the other one moves. And then on this side, this one moves around that bolt while the bolt stays still. Now, if the lock nut comes loose, then this is going to start to turn, and then it's going to get sloppy. When I bought these, and I just said these are very new. They're only like 2 days old. These, and I want the tolerance nice and tight. So when I got these, to me, the tolerance was a little too sloppy. So I undid this, got it to where I wanted it, but I did have a little difficulty in adjusting this because it's not that easy to set it precisely where you want it. Like this one, this has teeth on this outer nut, and it has a locking mechanism. So you can set this really precisely, like where you want with the tightness. And this also has a reinforced blade, but this whole thing was bent. This was damaged. These are really seen, you know, a lot of use. But they've held up, and this is a knockoff. This is like a copy of a Felco, but it's not a Felco. You know, these are at least 20-something years old. And these other ones, the German ones, these are over 30 years old. And these are like 2 days old. So anyway, so the thing is, these are what they call 8.5 inch, like I told you, and I mean, the thing is, you want to be able to take them apart so that you can sharpen the blades every now and then. Now, some people use a carbide blade sharpener. I use a small file because I just happen to be really good at using files. I use files for other things, so I'm used to them. So I put my blade edge on using a file, and that's what I prefer. And you can see how it comes out here. And I don't know if I can touch this, if it'll show. No, it doesn't want to do it. Okay. So, but anyway, let's go back to normal. Here it is. All right. So that's all I have for today. We'll just talk about some pruners, and you know, you can check these out. And there's all kinds of brands. I mean, Corona is a popular brand. They make really good ones, and you can usually get them at any hardware store. Like I said, this is a pair of Craftsman, and the reason I got these is because they had this really heavy aluminum handle, and they're more similar to like what I have here, and the shape and the ergonomics. It's all kind of similar to these other ones that I have, so it fell in line with what I already have. But like Felco is an expensive. They're like $50-some. I'm gonna either break them or lose them, so I don't want a $50-some pair of whatever, you know, pruners here. And I think these, I got them for $20, and that's a great price for a quality thing like this, you know. But again, the blades are standalone, like they are on this German one, right? They're standalone blades. They're nice and hard and everything. Okay, and time will tell. But this other one has reinforcement plate behind the anvil part. So, you know, all pruners, they have a blade and they have what they call an anvil. And these are bypass. The blade goes past the anvil, and that's how it cuts. So that's why they're called bypass. Some of them are like guillotine style, where the blade comes down onto a flat piece. So, all right, so just something to think about in your outdoor travels or around your property, you know, or whatever you're doing, just some pruner talk. All right, so listen, have a good day. I hope everybody stays well. Thank you for following and commenting or whatever. All right, bye-bye.